figure
There
it
we
out.
are. Live show
There we go. It was 5 seconds.
It was 5 seconds.
Hi, everyone. All right. Well, welcome to this special musical Q&A live stream. I have here Sam Haft, who is one of the amazing songwriters for the show. We've got Cristina Vee, the voice of Veronica, and Alex Brightman, the voice of Fizzarelli. And we are going to answer some of your fun music-based questions today, which I have a few of them, but I think Sam also, you saw some that you liked.
Yes, I saw
well.
some too. And there was someone who highlighted a comment, but unfortunately their highlighted comment time ran out. And I feel very bad about that. And they were asking if we'd ever consider doing a music video for Vacate a Bone Town.
Live action or animation?
Live
that's interesting.
Whoa. I'll hire some. We'll get some prosthetic makeup artists to do. Like,
I've been working out.
Yeah.
I have not been working out.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's a fun one.
There's so many comments. I didn't realize. I said this to you guys before, but I didn't realize there was a whole realm of comments. So that's cool. And also, everyone be nice. You know.
Yeah.
Yes. Everyone behave.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like it's funny seeing like it go from like a couple comments to just it's exploding with comments.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for commenting.
Yeah, this live chat is absolutely nuts. It looks like I'm reading The Matrix. It's just.
Why do people like? Whenever I'm in my studio bricks, people are like, "Are you in the shower?" I'm like, "No."
Oh, yeah. The window.
This is a high quality building established.
Yeah.
Squishy walls and everything.
These are not tile.
So nice.
You gotta get me one of those.
Yeah, I get one.
I know they look so fancy. They're super nice. The one question that I get asked a lot, and I'll go ahead and answer it at the top, is if there's going to be a cast soundtrack. Which the easy answer is just that we're working on it. We obviously have to kind of figure that out, but absolutely would love to bring you guys the soundtrack. So we're working on it. So the first question that I guess we should start with is that somebody asks, at what point during production does songwriting start? Presumably there's a song planned during the episodes, but not the details. So I can answer this one based on how I work for Helluva Boss, is that basically, I kind of made a rule for myself with especially with season 1, and we carried it over into season 2, where I really wanted at least one song per episode. But the difference between this show and one of my other shows is that the music comes from the universe. So it's a little bit less of like an authentic, like characters just burst into song when they're feeling high emotion. And so because of that, I kind of had to find excuses as to what the songs would be, because not every character is a musical theater character that's going to just start singing. So the challenge of the show is kind of figuring out naturally where a song fits in to an episode. So we the first step is kind of breaking that, like figuring out like, okay, is this going to be a song on the radio that the characters are kind of, doing an action to? Is this a song from a new character? Is this commercial? Is this an on-stage performance or things like that? So once we figure out in the writing stage kind of like what the episode's like basic premise is, the next step is figuring out like what makes the most sense for there to be a song in it. And then, after that, it's kind of formulating, the context of the song. For Helluva, it's a lot looser when it comes to, like song, like I wasn't as focused on the song, having to fit certain information from the script into it. So they kind of feel like these fun extra elements that kind of elevate the episode. But that's basically how it's worked. And then Sam, if you want to take over for kind of how you get it and what you do.
Yeah. So the process from there is when the episodes are planned, but I would say not fully written, but planned. you know, planned with some level of detail of like, you know, Vivienne knows where the scenes are going to be and general layout of like who's in this scene, what's happening in it, what needs to happen in it, what needs to happen through the course of the song. Generally, I will get like a Discord message being like, "Hey, can you do 4 to 11 songs in the next couple weeks?" And I will be like, "Yes, I can." And then we typically have like a call for like an hour or change where we walk through every song and who needs to be there, what songs need to get written first. And then from there, I try to come up with comparisons of like, what would you compare this song to when you imagine it in the scene? How could I best evoke that? And then at that point, then I'm just kind of off spinning my wheels and trying to figure out what would be the funniest choice for the characters and that, you know, makes plot sense. I really love the kind of the freedom that I have with Helluva Boss to take weird, edgy, jokey risks and just to be like, oh, well, earlier in this scene, Moxie's Bad Trip is a great example of this, because like earlier in the scene there is the bit about Moxie enjoying pegging, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta bring that back in the song. And so making it a turning it into, you know, musical symbolism of like the world is your anus, so peg it with honesty, like stuff like that.
You're not gonna hear Sondheim doing that.
No, you won't. Stuck it, Sondheim. Yeah, I mean, I think probably actually the first track that really hit home for me was Vacate a Bone Town, just because it, you know, that was really loosey-goosey. That was like, Veronica is a pop star and she needs to sing a pop song. And so write whatever you think a succubus's pop song would be. You know, it was super open-ended. And so I was like, well, it's a spring break episode. It's got to be like kind of a beachy, poppy dance song. And then by the time I was like, oh, but it's like, it's about fucking. And by the time I was like deep into the song, and it was like, oh, so there was a line in there that I couldn't keep a straight face when Cristina was recording it. I think it was souls out, holes out. How I was gonna say, yeah. And from the time when that lyric got approved, I was like, oh, I can just write anything. This is great. So I was, at that point, that was like a turning point for me with writing stuff for this, because also like the first stuff I wrote was like this beautiful lullaby, and then just kind of like a song that was kind of like making fun of like angsty songs about like hating your dad. And yeah, it didn't get to that like hard R rated place until Vacate a Bone Town. And so from then on, I was like, oh boy, we're going to have some fun.
What a lot of you don't know about Sam is able to write quite seriously some of the most beautiful and nuanced music, and then it's coupled with some of the filthiest shit you've ever heard in your whole life. It's really a dichotomy that I find really fascinating and very pretty enviable, you know.
Versatile.
Thank you.
Versatile.
Well, you are able to deliver my disgusting filth with such
much appreciated.
Thank you.
It's so fun. Actually, to piggyback off this question, someone, Alex, wrote it to you as well, because you write musicals as well. Is there anything different about the process of writing, kind of figuring out where the songs go into musical shows?
I write, you know, I typically, I'm not a songwriter. I write book to musicals. And so what the process there is sort of, you know, figuring out where there doesn't need to be book scene because the emotion is so high. And that's the sort of, you hit it on the head. It's like what I think is great about Helluva Boss, that it does follow pretty basic boilerplate great musical theater rules, which is like those songs really come in when they're never arbitrary. They're never sort of like feels like a break. It always feels like it does move the story forward in some way, or it's some high emotion. Like when Moxie sings in Asmodeus's club, it's, you know, it's out of this real risky, you know, for for like he's risking embarrassment and doing it anyway because he is in love, and that's that thing in musical theater when the emotion is too high to speak anymore. So I think that it's very, very well calculated. I mean, that's why I think it also hits emotionally, is because we're all in that moment, especially if we're conditioned after watching the show for this long to know that there is a song coming and where is it coming. It's very satisfying when it does come in that type of moment because it's what you're craving. You just don't realize you're craving it. I think when good musicals do it, it feels like the scene transitions very seamlessly into the song. And I think it's even more impressive that it's happening in a cartoon.
Awesome. Yeah, for sure. Cristina,
Yes.
this question's for you. Which
Sure.
song did you enjoy singing the most in the show? Also, I love your singing
Ooh.
voice, they say.
Oh, awesome. Oh gosh. I can't. There's lots of spoilers, so I won't spoil it. But I mean, I have to go with Vacay to Bone Town.
Thank you.
I'm really
Thank you.
I think I said this last time, but I love like now when you Google Cristina Vee, it's like Miraculous Ladybug children's show, Vacay to Bone Town. But it's okay because I guess there's already an artist named Cristina Vee with no E's, and their big song was called Havin' Sex. So we're just continuing on
With an
We're just
apostrophe?
continuing- Yeah, with the HAVIN apostrophe sex.
Okay.
That's great.
Listen, whatever it costs in the licensing budget, we need to have Verosica cover Having Sex.
Having sex? That's great. That actually that's a good segue into this really fun question that I saw. Which
How
is
could
that,
this possibly be a segue? I'm so curious.
well, mostly what Sam said, because the question is if you could sing any pop song as your character, what would you think would be a fun one?
Total
it's
Eclipse of the Heart.
I love that. I love that for you.
Yeah, I like it
So
for
good.
Fizz. Yeah,
Yeah.
Total
That
Eclipse
would
of
be
the Heart
great.
would be great
Man.
for Fizz.
Oh, for Verosica, we would have to do Britney Spears' Toxic, of course.
It's great.
Yes.
But also, I think it would be really fun if she sang Wolf in Sheep's Clothing by Set It Off.
Set it off.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
That's outstanding. These are great answers that we came up with.
Yes.
Good answers.
Good
team.
job, us.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. This is a good question for you, Sam. What songs were the inspiration for Blitz's part in the Trip scene? Mainly the Pink. Was it Pink Floyd's The Wall or other progressive rock
Oh yeah,
inspirations? Like
absolutely.
Genesis?
Yes. So what some people don't know is that Blitz's part in the song used to be a musical part in the song.
Mhm.
So and in fact, not only did it used to be that, but we recorded it that way too.
Yes.
We fully recorded the Trip as a musical for Moxie and a musical for Blitz. And and ultimately it worked better for the episode for Blitz to have this more dialogue driven breakdown. But so initially there were several sections to it. So Moxie was always very consistent with Broadway, and then Blitz's bit kind of evolved. So it started with what I considered kind of a very Led Zeppelin beginning, and which was the bow wow now now with those little half steps, which feels very Zeppelin to me, but it's also very Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
And after that, Blitz was going to have a section where Moxie was singing to him a reggae song. And we recorded it with Richard.
Which Richard had so much fun with, by the way.
These
let
need
me
to be
tell you.
bonus tracks. These are bonus tracks on the
Yes.
album.
100%.
It's a very funny track, like very funny.
The day you hear Richard Horvitz singing in Jamaican patois, it will change your
It's
world.
so cute. He had
And
so much fun with it. It was so fun.
the whole and the shtick and like and Blitz is like, we're gonna get letters about this. And it's so funny. But so initially it was this sort of musical progression. And then when it became more dialogue based, I took that first Led Zeppelin-y section and I extrapolated it out over the next several sections. So I just tried to get it crazier and crazier. Definitely my influences with that type of thing. Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Pink Floyd. I do like a lot of kind of proggy stuff. Like I went through a big Dream Theater phase. And you know, King Crimson's amazing. So there's a lot of that stuff kind of baked in there. And mostly what it is when I try to put together something musically that is not inherently based on one type of like song or artist. So like if there's a song that is, oh, this is I'm just going to spitball and use this as an example. This isn't in the show, but a song that's like, oh, this is like the Billie Eilish Bad Guy song. I obviously need to extrapolate from Billie Eilish Bad Guy. But if I'm doing something that's kind of more mood based, and this was really, I mean, it was scoring basically. And generally Jefferson Friedman, who is the master, does the scoring for the show because it was part of the Moxie trip sequence. I was doing it. I try to find a sound, and that sound will kind of take me the rest of the way. So I found this really dirty sounding guitar sound where the guitar is like really distorted and it has a lower double under it. And I just kind of started playing around with that, watching the scene over and over, just playing little licks on it and figuring out what works at what moments. So it was a lot of experimentation. That was a very long answer.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it sounded awesome, and it's funny too because Jefferson, who is brilliant, a brilliant composer for the show.
Goat.
I think originally the aim was for him to rescore, you know, and yours was kind of in place, but he loved it so much that he left it, and I agreed with him. I was like, I got so used to it, especially working to it, you know. One thing I will say from a production standpoint is that, like, you know, the songs never get old to listen to, but like, you know, the overall episode just, it does, because we see it hundreds of times. Like I have to watch it hundreds of times, not only to edit it, but also to, you know, just literally production, you know, plugging in the shots and then seeing every stage of the process. But when the score comes together, that's always like the first time seeing it again. Like the score and the sound put to the picture is always like kind of the first time seeing it again. And especially for this latest episode, I was like, I hadn't like felt an emotion watching it in so long because I've written it so long ago. And then, you know, we were in production for so long of it that I was like, yeah, okay. Blitz and Stolz are sad at the end. That's fine. And then when hearing the score over it, it got me like emotional again. I was like, oh crap, that hit me. So
yeah,
shout out to the score for as well.
Yeah.
Like, the music is a huge part of the show. So
absolutely, and oh my God, like it's obvious to everyone watching and everyone participating, but like I was so stunned by the ending of last episode, just the performances at the ending of last episode. Like the last time we were directing Brandon, I was like, you know, you're like a really good actor, right? Like I was like, you're very, very good at this. He's oh my God.
Evoked a lot of emotion at the end, which was extremely unexpected.
Yeah. Oh my God, totally. What one more thing I wanted to add that I like is a totally stolen musical thing I did. Every time I do hard rock music in Hell, I always add an anvil sound, which is pure Tenacious D. That's a total Tenacious D.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Tenacious D uses an anvil sound as like a crash ride in that showdown song with the devil in their movie. And I was like, oh my God, that does sound like hell. So I totally steal their anvil idea.
That's awesome.
Extremely fun hearing about this from you, Sam. These long answers are well worth it. Because they're like, so if you're a music nerd watching this, it's like perfect. It's like great.
You should steal the anvil thing too. Anyone watching.
Everyone steal it.
Yeah.
We don't have Bryce with us, unfortunately. He couldn't make it, but I'm seeing a couple questions for whether or not Stolas will sing kind of the extended version of that lullaby, which as of right now, no, we didn't record that, but I will say that Stolas has some brilliant music in season 2 to look forward to. So, you know, that satiates people a little bit. I get that question a lot as well.
The season 2 music rips.
It
really
does.
does.
It's
my
great.
God.
The season 2 songs that I've at least been privy to are awesome.
And the season 1 music is so good. And we later down the line make us in the past look like chumps. Like, it's so good.
I will say that, like, I think there's an awesome like thing to witness of like how much the show kind of grows. You know, like it grows. Like from a writing perspective, we figured out what we wanted to do over the course of this season. So season 2 is just like entirely what we wanted to do. And I feel like the music reflects that as well, because, you know, it's always a new process to work with new people and kind of get everyone comfortable. So, you know, working with you, Sam, on season 1, I got to know, you know, what you do. And I got to know, you know, like kind of like what, you know, like what working together was like, and like what I can ask for and what you're up for. And all that is reflective in season 2. And we also gain a couple other songwriters that I know. Some songwriters helped you out, some songwriters that were completely new to the series and do some great stuff as well. And obviously Andrew Butler as well, who did the song, the House of Asmodeus song, does some more that are brilliant.
Yes.
So season 2 has some great stuff to look forward to. I'm super excited for you guys to see it eventually when we get to it. Yeah. We're cooking it now. So
always worth the wait.
Yes, I will say that this season, it's a similar situation with season 1, because you know, I've been sitting on these episodes since the start of 2021. So I had the song and I'd seen the House of Asmodeus animatic all the way back then, and we only got, you know, to release it the end of the year. And it's a similar situation now with season 2, where some of the ending episodes of season 2 are like, I'm so excited and I'm just sitting on them for a long time. So
I legitimately, I think we always record so far away from when it comes out. I legitimately forgot what House of Asmodeus sounded like. So it was all new to me. And it was so fun as a fan of the show to be like, oh, right, this one. You know, it's like, it was like so far away. And also I hadn't heard sort of James on the track. And I knew what I did, which was sort of mainly just little backup. Like it wasn't, you know, it's James's song. And I'm already such a huge fan of James, but I was like, right, because I must have thought like maybe the song was already released and I missed it, but it was so much fun that it came back, and I was as shocked as I think anybody, because I just forgot that we had recorded it.
Yeah, that was so much fun to watch for the first time, because again, like we recorded that and it was just a little section months ago, maybe even a year ago.
Definitely,
and
I think. Feels like.
I hadn't seen like the storyboard or anything, so. I was like, this sounds kind of familiar. That's me! And she thought, oh my God. It was so cool. Her costume and like the call outs in the background, and it just goes so hard. And it was like, oh my God, I was not expecting that. And it's so cool to see like the final product fresh for the first time, to experience it as like the viewer would, because I hadn't seen anything up until then. So it was really, really cool.
Yeah, it's always really cool to see it. Like for me, the most exciting part is hearing the track come together with all the voices, because for a lot of these songs, I mean for all of these songs, we record them individually. Like besides the pilot, we've recorded all of Helluva Boss individually with everyone. And so it's just as exciting for me to hear them all together, because like you know, it's just so cool. Like I'm like I hear the song demo and I'm like, okay, this is going to be awesome. But then we individually record, and there's something about hearing all the voices actually in the song together, especially when it's an ensemble, that just makes it unreal.
It feels almost impossible that everything was separate when you hear it. It does feel so incredibly seamless, and it's like, how does this sound that good? You know,
The show is,
Yeah.
I gotta say, like, it is sound mixed so well. There's so
Yes.
much indie animation on YouTube that is dialogue heavy, and it often you hear stuff and it sounds like, okay, I'm really enjoying this, but it does sound like they were recorded in different environments or whatever, and it's so seamless.
Yeah, I think that's the acting. I think that's the voice acting. Thank you.
Yeah. And it is all because of Alex.
Thank you.
Yeah, I will say that's a big shout out I can give Richard as well, because something that Richard does for you guys is that he reads with you and he retains what the performance is of the other actors, so he's able to harness it. And I really feel like that's just a huge benefit the show has is him, because like he's able to help you guys get the read that is in reaction to the read of other characters, and it's awesome. So it's
100%.
awesome to witness. And then you guys are just you guys do such a great job individually that it's, I don't know, it when I put them all together, it really does, it feels like so natural. Like there's never any unnatural readings. Like the pickups we do are never because the read isn't quite correct. Like it's usually more the boards that change, you know, like the board artists have more control to change a scene than the acting, you know what I mean, like than the other actors, because you guys do such a great job playing off each other. The only pickups we usually do are when the board artist takes the scene in a completely different direction, and I'm like, oh, this read, you know, like, oh, he's falling off a building in this scene, so the read that we have where it's like casual doesn't work, you know, things like that. So it's usually that situation. But another question we got was, someone says, I always wondered this. Is it hard to stay in character while singing? If yes, what is your method of staying in character while singing? This is for Cristina and Alex.
Cristina.
Staying in character. Well, maybe for Brassica, since it's really just my normal voice, I didn't really consider. I feel like the lyrics take care of that part for me, and so I just have to focus on the delivery and intent and all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's really just my regular voice too. I have to thank, I thank my 4-year development with Beetlejuice with making that voice not only, a thing that I can do, but a thing that I can do multiple takes of, because that, I think, that always is the case, when you're doing voiceover in general, you're doing multiple takes of things. So when you're doing a song, you also do multiple takes of that. So really just mine was more, I had done it for so long that it's something I can pull out as easily as someone else can pull out some sort of other voice. It's just something that sits there now that doesn't take much thought to do and doesn't take too much out of me, thankfully. So it just was, all it was half a decade of work, and then it works well now because it's a party trick that only services me for voiceover, basically.
It really is a stunning skill, Alex. I mean,
thanks.
It's from the amount of time you do that, I would expect that, like, casually like this, you would sound like you're speaking through a straw. It is.
Yeah, and it's like people.
It is wild.
People that don't know me, that come across me, whatever, even after a show, after doing a performance of Beetlejuice, that don't necessarily know who I am from anything. They're very shocked to see how high my voice typically is, and it's not really even close, to the thing. But it's been a very long process to find that, and just as far as it's really a stamina thing, and I feel very at home there now, and I don't think I would have were I not have the run of the show that we did. So that's all it is, was figuring it out for a very long time, so that when you do it now, you don't think about it at all.
Oh, this is a fun question. So far, all the characters have had unique musical styles in their individual songs. What is the process of translating the characters musically? Are there certain instruments or sounds you associate with each character? And how do you work those into the full lyrical songs? I mean, I think for me, I really like kind of experimenting with genre. Like I like a lot of genres of music. There really aren't that many that I don't like. So I kind of associate every character with a different genre. Like that's just always been something I've had fun with. So it's definitely a challenge for the songwriters because I'm like, okay, so this one's country, this one's, you know, pop, this one's jazz, you know, like there's all these different musical styles and you kind of have to pull out all the tricks for them. But I usually each character I kind of associate them with what they'd probably associate themselves with, you know, because everyone kind of has different musical tastes that they prefer. And I think that kind of is reflective in them. Like the easiest one is Moxie, because like me, he really likes musical theater. So, you know, he's pretty open, but, you know, and I also like country. So I throw country in there a lot, which is, you know, not everyone's favorite genre.
That's also got to be a hurdle, you know, for Sam. It's like, that's to me just to throw a compliment back your way. It's like, that's to be that dynamic and that, nimble when it comes to different styles. That's not a thing that comes easy to just every composer. That's not a thing. It's a lot of research, I imagine, as well.
Yeah, I mean, part of that is, you know, I think just kind of a willingness to be challenged, because there, you know, early on in the process, Vivienne will be like, I've got this type of song and this type of song. And I was like, I'll 100% do it. Like, I've never done that before, but I feel like I could. And so a lot of it is honestly just kind of like biting off what could be more than I could chew, and then and finding the dive before I hit the water. Like there's a lot of figuring it out. But that is, to me, the most fun part of this process is, like, I think well, I won't say it in case it is spoily. But you know, there are genres that I have been asked to do for the first time. And that is, like, for me, like, the most thrilling part of the process is figuring out, oh, what does this type of song sound like? What does this type of song sound like? What are the instruments? Actually, speaking as part of that question, like the instruments that are associated with those characters, like Fizz, for me, it's always, there has to be some kind of bed of accordion whenever Fizz is doing anything. With Stryker, it's like banjo and acoustic, you know, Western acoustic guitar. Verosica has that sine that's like, it's like a sine wave synth that's like, it's like a little theremin-ish, but it's like a synth keyboard that's played way, way, way high up, like kind of notes that would upset a dog. And Stolas has this very spacey synth texture pad that I've used on basically everything that Stolas is in. So there are the more I do stuff for any character, the more I can do more stuff for that character. And that's so interesting because it feels like I'm getting to know a music artist who I am their songwriter. And that is so interesting as part of the process.
I have a question, if that's okay. I have a question. Have there been any songs that were cut? I mean, were there songs that were originally there for something and then you had to change it? I've never thought about that until this moment.
So there was a song in season 2 that was cut, and then there was the music bit, the sort of musical reggae bit that Moxie had that was cut out of Moxie's Bad Trip. But generally,
that one exists.
Yes,
so people
and that does exist and was recorded. The thing that was cut from season 2, I don't think was recorded, Vivienne, right?
It wasn't recorded, and I don't think it was meant to be recorded either. It was a song that was going to be in a montage. And so I think the reason it was cut was because of time. Because so I get to talk about something that I learned over the course of season 2. So something that we have done on another project that I have learned is amazing is including the lyrics in the script, because we did not do that on Helluva Boss. And I was wondering why these episodes were turning out to be much longer than I had originally expected. And it's because the script is a certain length and then we throw a 3-minute song in there. And I'm like, oh yeah, that might be why. It's so long. So season 2 is much longer than season 1. It's longer in the sense that it has more episodes in the season itself, and it's also longer as in like every episode's runtime is kind of capping out at around a certain amount, which is more than season 1. So that's another reason why, full disclosure, guys, it's going to take a little bit more time. But it'll be worth it. I mean, the episodes are amazing, but that was one of the reasons, because that song, we actually have 2 songs in that episode. And one of them is a character song, and the other one was this montage song. And so when it came time for me, like editing the animatic and working on it, I was just like, okay, I'm so sorry, Sam, but this song is not technically needed.
Or
so
no, I actually think it was going to be 3 songs in that episode.
Yeah, I think so.
It got cut down to 2, but there were 3. I think, because it was 2 of the songs that Andrew and I did together. And then
that's a different episode.
Oh, that's never mind.
Yeah. Well, okay, so another answer is that there was a song that you wrote that I really liked, but it wasn't quite what worked for the scene.
Right.
So we cut it for that reason, but that song is still in there. We just one of the new songwriters did a stab at it, and so his is going to be in it. And what you did was amazing, and I kind of want to find a place for it maybe in the future. Because I won't speak too far ahead of the show, but
yes,
we're always thinking about the future.
We are.
So
it's hard to have these conversations with an audience that we cannot. That there's like, oh yeah, well there, well,
oh wait, here's a question that Andrew just posed. Is how did Sam start working on Helluva Boss? And I guess the short answer to that is that we have a really good mutual friend, Yoav, whose band is The Living Tombstone. And I've known Yoav forever. Brilliant songwriter and song creator, band creator, everything. And I met you through one of his parties, and we just started talking musical theater. And
yeah, that's right. We were talking musical theater, and I was also like, my background into music wasn't directly into music. I was in comedy first, and I was doing like comedy music, and that was like kind of my songwriting angle. And so I feel like that, and then talking about musicals, we just kind of got to talking at, I think it was his housewarming party, and then from there it was like, oh hey, oh yeah, I see people in the chat like The Living Tombstone. That's my band too. I'm in it. He founded it, but since 2016, 17, that's been me as well. So,
I'm also in it.
Yes. Yeah, no. But yeah, it's we met at that party, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Yoav and I together will also be working on some stuff in this universe in the future. So that would also be very exciting.
Yes. Yeah. I've been looking for an excuse to work with Yoav forever. We've known each other since ages. So I'm very excited for that. I'm trying to find more fun questions. There's so many fun questions, by the way. Like all your questions are fun, but a lot of them I think we've kind of covered.
Yeah.
So
and probably some of them we can't answer.
And some of them we definitely cannot answer.
That is also true. Yeah.
Okay, this is a good one. What was the hardest song to record? And I don't know the second half of this question, so I'm just going to go with the first half of the question. So the hardest song to record, and if it is something from season 2, I guess you can be vague, but I feel like both of you have had a few songs in this season, because was there a particular challenge to one versus the other?
I think actually it's funny. I mean, I think we played a lot with Lululand because it was sort of just me. I mean, are there any other people singing on that?
No, it's just that was
right.
Just you.
So I think what was not planned, I knew the song and learned the song before we came in for recording, and I knew sort of my bit, and then we just sort of throughout the day like had to sort of play around and improvise with sort of like making it feel like an ensemble number. because there are like, doubled and tripled vocals, and kind of coming up with those was a challenge, mainly because, it's more ear stuff, because I don't read music all that well or really at all. And so it just becomes like, how do we, using your ear to sort of double and triple and make an octave higher so it sounds like there's other people singing. That was a challenge, because it was like on the day walking into the recording booth going, you're also singing a lot of other stuff. And so, which is great. I mean, like, that to me, like, that's the best. I love a good foggy road and not knowing what's on the other side of it. And I think it's like more fun to jump through when you just go, yeah, sure, let's see what happens. And I think it came out well. I just in this moment thought about, I'm the only person singing on that track just multiple times.
I mean, for Vacay to Bone Town,
just trying to talk about it seriously is funny.
It is, I think
it was no vacay.
It takes a lot of composure. Like, all right, sun's out, hole's out. How does it smell? Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, Sam and Viv make it so easy, and I feel like it was. I mean, I feel like it went by pretty fast. That first session that we had together. I feel like we just kind of did it a few times and had a couple questions about some of the notes, and I feel like we knocked it out pretty quickly. It's just super super easy, and I felt very comfortable, and it was fun. I liked. I remember one of the notes that you gave me was to sing it like a little more Billie Eilish-y.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something like I hadn't considered. Like, I think I was doing just my normal like pop singing style, and then we did that, and I think it really added a cool vibe to it that I really love, that I hadn't got to experiment with before. So that was really cool.
The most challenging thing I know for sure is there's definitely stuff in season 2 that's more challenging than season 1.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
for
like
a good reason.
The songs,
it's complicated.
Yes, I feel like the songs in season 2, not only are they complicated songs, but there's also there's a lot of acting in the songs in season 2. So they're kind of a double whammy of interesting to do, but super fun to hear and witness.
One of the oh no, I was just gonna say one of the songs that I anticipate being maybe almost as difficult. Like, I feel like Alex and I are gonna be in this together as just like, this is a hard song. Is a very long song that doesn't really go anywhere very fast, that Alex has to do a lot of very different musical styles on.
Yes.
And that song, for sure, when people find out what that is, I don't think they will be surprised that is, for me, has been the hardest thing I had to write for the whole show.
Wow.
Easily the already, and now it is sort of in there, but easily the hardest thing to learn from top to bottom in a while because it really does. It's not all that intuitive. It's just that, like where certain things follow a verse, chorus. This is much more of a sort of, beef stew of a song.
Yeah. So look out for a real beef stew of a song.
There is a beef stew of a song. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's funny, though, because that song in particular, you turned around pretty fast. And I was a little shocked by that, because I was like, whoa, that was a really complicated song. And you must have hit a creative stream and just followed it down.
Part of it is that by very nature, without giving very much away, by very nature, the song is supposed to feel very improvisational. So I didn't want to take too much time with it. I really wanted to be like, okay, what happens next? Yeah, this. What happens next? This. Without second guessing a single choice, because I knew if I got into that kind of editing, like, is there a better way to do that? Is there a different way to do that? I knew it would feel less spontaneous, and it needs to feel very spontaneous.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is a fun one from Andrew, actually. So I also got to sing in the Cherub jingle. Yes, I did. Was that also one that Sam got to write and direct? Any prior singing experience? No, I'm not a singer, but I do. I've taken private singing lessons since I was in high school. I love to sing. I don't bill myself as a singer because I don't feel like I've earned that, but I can carry a tune. So I actually, me stepping in to play Keeney was budgetary, but I had so much fun. I really had so much fun. I genuinely love being like, you know, obviously Richard's a brilliant director. So the fact that I'm not particularly a voice actor, you know, hasn't really, you know, like I don't cast myself as main characters because I'm like, no, but I have a lot of fun, and I like being part of the universe. I don't talk about voicing Keeney a whole lot. I love Keeney. I think Keeney's a very fun character, but I don't talk about it because it's not my world. I'm so used to being behind the scenes that I'm not really open about it, but I really liked to sing on that jingle. It was super fun to actually, I just remember I was so anxious about it that I did, I brought in my my singing coach, Ingrid Schnell, who's amazing.
What?
Yeah.
Wait. Did I know this
as well?
Yeah, I worked with her since I was 25 years old.
Do you still?
Whoa.
Yeah, well, I haven't worked with her in a few months. That's so crazy.
Me either, because of the pandemic. I had to take a break, but no, she's brilliant.
Oh my God.
Awesome.
What a small world.
Wow.
That's so cool. I think she might have mentioned that to me, but I think I must have forgotten that. That's awesome. Well, yay. So she's amazing. She's awesome. She's a brilliant singing coach. But yeah, I asked if she could be there to help warm me up, because I was like, all right, because it's also, I mean, to be fair, also that song is a harmony. So it's like a 3-part harmony that we had to lock into the correct harmony. So it was kind of like I couldn't just sing it however I wanted. I had to stick to a melody, or like a you know, specific range of the melody to keep the song correct. So it was a little bit of a challenge, but it was very fun.
Worth it.
And that's is the Cherub song's a Perry song, isn't it?
That was a Perry Grip song.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
as well. So that was a different songwriter. And Perry Grip is amazing. Perry Grip did the songs for the Has Been Hotel pilot.
Perry Grip is a legend. To me, like, you were like, oh yeah, also one of the other people who does the songs for this is Perry Grip, and I was like, I know who Perry Grip is. I've seen Hamster on a Piano. I know this guy. This is internet legend, Perry Grip.
Yeah, no, Perry is amazing. And it's funny because I grew up with his music being the super like it's like the most earworm music you'll ever hear in your life. And a lot of the songs that he'll do for fun are these like cute little, like, he'll see an animal video and like make a song out of it. So like the songs will be like, you know, like Hamster on a Piano, or like
Baby Monkey riding backwards on a pig.
Yeah,
oh, that's who that is.
Like,
yeah,
yes, yeah, like
Baby Monkey.
I think one of my favorites is there's a one called Young Girl Talking About Herself, and it's a bunch of like those old like videos where girls used to just vlog like their feelings, like it was almost like a video diary back in like the early days of the internet, and it's just this song about young girls talking about herself.
I mean,
it's so cute. I love his music.
He is the internet's foremost jingle smith.
Yes. Yeah. So
awesome.
And he wrote Lululand as well. The Lululand.
Right.
Song.
I just never knew. I never knew who I was dealing with. Wow.
Oh yeah.
That's why it's so earworm. I remember like when we first got the demo for Lululand, I had it on repeat. I was like, I can't stop listening to this song. And then once we had it recorded, that was one of the most fun ones too. I know the board artist had a blast boarding it. And we had a blast watching that one back and forth. So that was super fun. Let's see what other questions we've got. This is a fun one. I noticed House of Asmodeus didn't run on the usual musical logic that Helluva Boss songs normally go. Does this mean the show is now going to have both diegetic and non-diegetic musical numbers? Yes, kind of. The way I kind of treat it is that we you know, we all the songs start in the universe, but you know, once they are established, especially when they're really high emotion like that, they do kind of translate to traditional musical style, where we can kind of do these more specific visuals, or we can kind of like go into a dream sequence, like kind of like we did in Moxie's Bad Trip. So they basically, you know, we find excuses to kind of break the musical, you know, break into musical space from the reality of the Helluva Boss universe. So
Right.
to kind of answer it, yes, sort of, when we can cheat it, we do, but all the songs start in the universe, and that's the rule.
Yeah. Oh, we are. It says we're a 5-minute mark, so we
are
should
at
start
the
wrapping up.
5-minute mark.
One thing I would like to just like thank people for is the response to "You Will Be Okay," because that was the first one I wrote for the show, and like because of that, like I was also like I was so nervous about making it, and I was like, oh my god, this is so powerful, it needs to come from the heart. And you know, I am a new dad, a relatively new dad. My son is now 2. At the time he was just not even 1 that I wrote this. And like I wrote it for him basically because I was like, oh, I'm feeling these feelings, I want him to be all right. And so it was like a really, really personal one. In a unique way where it wasn't just like, nice sex jokes, I love these characters. And so I just like I am really grateful that people have connected with it the way that they have, and it's like it means a lot to me as a dad, you know, like that it resonated with people.
Has your 2-year-old seen the show?
That'll be a while, I think. Just a minute.
When he turns 30, he can watch it.
Yeah.
It'll be in the will.
Awesome.
Yes. When he's 4. Well, okay, son, this is Vacay to Bone Town.
Well, awesome. Well, then let's. I'd love to let you guys plug your live streams, like when you're going to be signing prints. For Cristina, yours is today, right?
Yes.
Right?
I'm signing right now after I put on a little makeup. I'll hop on TikTok. And I'll be signing today, but I'm only signing my Verostica prints today because I have a short amount of time, but tomorrow I'm going to sign as many of my other prints as well. So they're still available. I have a really cool holographic Verostica print that's really, really cool. And so I hope you guys will come check it out. Peace.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That Verostica print is dope. I just saw that Verostica holograph thing. It's dope.
It's so pretty in person. Really cool. Thank you.
Mine is still for a minute. I just wanted to give a long lead time for many reasons, but schedule being the main one. November 30th, post Thanksgiving. You know, if you're full and you want to come and hang, I do pretty long streams on Instagram. A lot of the stuff is, you can find all the information on my Twitter, which I announce, you know, things frequently. And so that's Alex B Updates on Twitter. And I'll be signing all the things and all of, you know, as much as I can, and I really appreciate people liking the stuff. And I'm in love with the artwork, and all the artists that have done incredible art for these are insane. I mean, like every single new one is like a new revelation in art for me. So yeah, November 30th, I believe 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be there. Instagram, check it out on Twitter. I will be there happily, and please come hang out. I also tend to answer a lot of questions there, but none about anything spoilery. So don't even think about it.
Don't you try. I'm doing a signing. Andrew, who is running this, please correct me if I'm about to say this wrong. I think I'm doing my signing tomorrow at 10 in the morning. Pacific time. Am I right? Yes, I'm right. Okay, thank God. Okay.
Yeah, there is a group one tomorrow.
Okay,
are you doing it in the group one?
I think I'm doing it in the group one. Okay, so I'm doing it in the group one tomorrow, 10 a.m. I'll if there's signings that I don't get to, then I will also continue solo. But I will be signing both solo and with Richard Horvitz, the Play Hell playbill for Moxie's Bad Trip. And I'm also got a co-signing with Bryce, You Will Be Okay print as well. So check it out. And hey, follow me on Twitter at Sam Haft, please. And I think those are all my plugs.
Perfect. Well, it was amazing having you guys. This was super fun. Sorry to everyone that Bryce and James couldn't make it, but they are obviously going to be around in the future. And thank you guys so much for watching the show and supporting, and buy everybody's prints. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you heard Viv. Buy
Thank
everybody's prints.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it. Do it.
Buy
Spend
'em.
your money.
Yes. And also, like, obviously, thank you so much, Vivienne, for giving all of us this opportunity. It's like
Yeah.
it's been so incredible to join the work family of the Vivziverse. It's been amazing.
The
Thank you guys for being part of it.
the VMU.
Yes.
The VMU.
Yeah, that's good.
And that's how it feels at this point.
And obviously, thanks to everybody who's watched. It's really, really amazing. And that have commented. And like, there's been 6 gazillion comments on every single video that comes out. And it's like, and it's just so warm, and the reception has been so cool. So that's very nice. So thanks to everybody doing that.
Yes, thank you guys so much. As always, can't wait to bring you more. And yeah, thank you guys, and take care. Stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Be well.
Love you.